On today's episode, we will be discussing, should the Lakers no longer use LeBron, Reaves, and Luka on the floor together? And is this Lakers team a playoff team? Here we go. What's up, everybody? Anthony here with you, Matter of Stats podcast. Thank you for tuning in. As always, if you're new, please hit that subscribe button. It helps us grow the channel, and we appreciate all your support. All right, let's dive right in. So it is dire straits right now for the Lakers. They've lost 3 games in a row. They look to be a complete mess. A disaster on all phases. They're struggling offensively. Obviously, we know they're continuing to struggle defensively. They're having some inefficient efforts from night to night. Luka struggled here and there. Reaves hasn't been great last few games. They got pushed around by the Boston Celtics on Pat Riley Statue Day. They lost a home game against a beatable Magic squad. And then, of course, they blow a lead and win against a lowly Suns team that basically didn't have any of their good players. And it's starting to appear as though the Lakers' deficiencies are no longer able to be masked or subsided by their ability to just beat the teams they're supposed to beat and outscore everybody. Because even offensively, they are struggling quite a bit from getting consistent performances from Luka, Reaves, etc. And there's no secret, this team is built on the big 3, so to speak. So if LeBron, Luka, and Reaves aren't scoring at a high level, this team is not beating anybody, period. And we'll get into a little bit of the specifics and some of the individual struggles, particularly from our boy DeAndre Ayton here shortly. But wanted to start here with this level of concern. There's been a lot of chatter about the big 3 and their efficiency or lack of efficiency when they're on the court together. So speaking, of course, about Luka, LeBron, and Reaves. We know it's a small sample size. They haven't played together much this season, but the data and the numbers support the fact that when all 3 of them are out there, the Lakers are a bad team. They struggle offensively. They struggle defensively. They are just not a good team, and they're getting outscored from the most part when those 3 are on the floor with just about any lineup. And when you mix and match a little bit, again, it's all small sample sizes, I understand. So an argument can be made either way. But when you extrapolate the numbers and you split the 3, when Luka and Reaves are on the court together without LeBron, the Lakers are much more efficient and effective. When LeBron is on the court without Reaves and Luka, those lineups are more successful. So there definitely seems to be a dynamic between the combination of all 3 versus different dichotomies of breaking up the 3, whether it's just one of them out there or 2 of them out there. Those iterations and those lineups tend to be much better statistically than when the 3 of them are on the court. So it begs the question, what do you do? If you're the Lakers, do you no longer play the 3 of them out there at the same time? Now, that's going to be hard to do on the surface in most cases because, one, they all start and they're the 3 best players, and you talk about ego and money and all those symmetrical things. But who are you going to put in their place? I mean, the Lakers don't have a lot of depth and talent to begin with, which is the crux of the problem, right? The real issues here are that the roster is flawed, which we know. It's not a good roster. It's not a deep roster. It's not a talented roster. It's not athletic. They don't have any real defenders. They've got zero rim protection. DeAndre Ayton has been, in my opinion, a huge disappointment. And because of all of those things, if you don't play LeBron, Luka, and Reaves out there together, who are you putting on the floor? Who are you really going to put on the floor that's better? Now, again, I know the numbers suggest that certain iterations of the lineups are more statistically efficient, but these are small sample sizes. Are you really telling me that bringing Reaves off the bench or not playing LeBron in the final 5 minutes of the fourth quarter consistently is going to really suggest that they are hands down better? I don't know, because these numbers are based on small amounts of time because the big three haven't played that much together this year, which could be part of the problem in and of itself. Because when they're all out there together, they look like three guys just occupying space, but not actually playing together as a unit. And I think that's a problem of a lot of things. It's a problem of time not spent together. It's a problem of the supporting cast that is around them when they're on the floor. And it's a problem of you got three guys that essentially all do the same thing. They're all at their best when they have the ball and they're either facilitating or scoring. The other two kind of stand around. They can't really play at a high enough clip because their strengths all are the same. So you're not getting the best version of all three when they're out there together because of that. So I think when you factor all that in, the Lakers and the coaching staff might have to make some tinkers. I don't think you can completely get away from all three of them playing together in long stretches at a time. Like they're still going to start and they're probably going to finish. But maybe you can find stretches in the game where you can mitigate the three of them playing together and mix and match different things in parts of the game, end of the first quarter, right? Middle of the third quarter, start of the fourth quarter, where you can kind of hedge things a little differently and maybe get a lead or make a comeback or sustain a stretch of basketball where you're playing at a little bit of a higher level so that maybe end of the game when you have to have the three of them out there, you're not in a situation where you're up against it. You're down 8. You're down 3. You're trying to make a big play, get a big stop, because that's been the problem, especially this week, right? They botched the Orlando game because they couldn't figure out between Luka and LeBron who's going to take the shot. And then inexplicitly, the end of the Suns game, I don't know why Luka was on the floor to begin with, because all you needed was a defensive stop. So why you wouldn't at least take Luka off for the sake of argument to try to get that defensive stop. Now, I know Grayson Allen probably traveled. I get it, whatever. The Lakers have been hosed this week on a variety of calls. I get it, goaltendings and various things. But, I mean, those are just isolated incidents that, yeah, maybe they did cost them a win or two, but that's not the big picture. The big picture is the Lakers' defensive issues really lend from the fact that they just lack the capability to defend and they have zero athleticism, so they have trouble just physically keeping guys in front of them. And every team that plays the Lakers is going to play the same card. They're going to pressure. They're going to be physical. They're going to put a lot of ball pressure. They're going to double Luka. They're going to blitz Luka and Reaves, and they're going to force the other guys to do something because, quite frankly, they don't scare anybody. I mean, Kennard and Rui, 3-point field goal percentage are top 10 in the league, yet they seem to be completely unimpactful because they don't shoot enough and they don't make enough. And great, yeah, you're going 1 for 2. That's fantastic. But volume matters here. When you're going to be an elite 3-point shooter, volume matters. You need guys that go 4 for 10, right? 4 for 8, 3 for 7, whatever. 1 for 2 doesn't get it done. I don't care about 50% if you're only making 1. I can live with you shooting 39% if you're making 4. And the Lakers just don't seem to have that. And when you talk about DeAndre Ayton, obviously, there was some chatter, him and comparing himself to Clint Capella. He ain't no Clint Capella. I get it. On the surface, yes, DeAndre Ayton is a more talented basketball player than Clint Capella. But it's not what the Lakers need. If the Lakers had Clint Capella, let me let you in on a little secret. They'd be better off. They'd be a better team because Clint Capella would provide what DeAndre Ayton doesn't, which is more of what the Lakers need. They don't need an offensive-minded center that is only engaged when he's getting the ball and scoring. They need a guy that's just going to rebound, defend, and protect the paint. They need an interior presence. They need a lob threat. They need a consistent guy, anchor in the middle that's going to rebound and block shots. That ain't Ayton, right? And I'm not saying Clint Capella is the second coming of Christ, but he fits the mold of what this Laker team needs more than a DeAndre Ayton type. That's the whole issue with the big three. They all do the same thing. If you're going to build around Luka and Reaves, ultimately you've got to have a bunch of high-level wings, athletic defenders, guys that can shoot the three, so you have a versatile team, similar to what they built around Luka in Dallas when, lo and behold, he took them to the finals. So there's obviously going to be a lot of pressure on this front office, and we see the changes that are slowly happening here. So it's going to be a big summer for the Lakers as they really have to figure out how they're going to build a team around Luka with the pieces you need to win in today's NBA. You got to have interior presence. You got to have rim protecting bigs. You got to have multiple athletic wings, and you've got to have a bunch of guys that can spread the court and make threes. The Lakers have none of that right now. And even if you mix up the big three and mix and match minutes and rotate things around so they're not out there as much together, it's not going to solve the big picture. It might make some small incremental improvements, but it's not going to make this team that much better overall in the end, because I think their ceiling is what their ceiling is. They're a good team, not a great team. Which, of course, leads me into the second point I wanted to get into this week. Playoffs. Playoffs? We're talking playoffs. Playoffs? Right? Is this Laker team a playoff team? I know it sounds a little silly to say, but I think it's an honest question, because right now, I'm not sure. I'm not convinced that they are a for sure, yeah, they'll make the playoffs, don't worry. No, I'm not convinced. Right now, they're hanging on to a top 6 seed by a thread, and they could just as easily be in that 7 or 8 play-in game. And who knows? They got to win one big game. Can they do it? I don't know. Right now, I don't know. This team is a mess right now. They're playing super disjointed. They're struggling defensively. They look totally out of sync offensively, and they look like they have no chemistry internally. The players just look like they're all kind of out there unsure of what they're doing or what they're supposed to do, and they seem super disinterested in playing with one another. That's a big problem when you talk about, can they make the playoffs? Can they get out of the first round? Can they win a playoff game? Right now, I have serious doubts in this team's ability to be a lock to make the playoffs or have a chance to even get out of the first round. A chance to get even out of the first round, because right now, to me, it's a big question mark. And what I've seen over the last week or so has me really concerned about the fluidity of this team and if they can get it together, right? We talk about kind of getting off the track, getting off the rails, right? And sometimes you get a little bit off track and it's really easy to shift and get back on gear, right? Especially if you have strong coaching and strong leadership. But if you get too far off the track, too far off the beaten path, you can't find your way back in time. It's too late. It takes too long to get back on track. And this team right now is kind of trending in that direction, and it makes me a little nervous. It makes me a lot nervous, to be honest with you. And I don't know if the dynamic between Luka and LeBron is going to get better, because right now they kind of just seem like they don't really enjoy playing with one another. And if you're going to get up and down moody performances from DeAndre Ayton and inconsistencies from the shooters that you do have out there, like Rui and LaRavia and Kennard, I don't know. I don't know how this team gets better anytime soon, and I certainly don't know how they are a lock to make the playoffs, because right now I think they're going to battle in every single game, whether they're playing a team they should be or a team that is clearly better than them. I think a lot of these games are going to be a struggle unless they figure something out. Well, we'll see. We'll see how the rest of the weekend goes. They face the Warriors in Golden State this weekend. That's always a tough matchup. And then they got a pretty tough schedule coming up in March here. So we'll see what happens. And as always, we'll bring it to you here on the Matter of Stats podcast. And until then, thank you for tuning in. Hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next week.
podcast.